Alright, so what you're going to need, dish soap, your valve brush, and your mouthpiece brush. If yours came with a snake, great. I'm not going to use one in this video, but you can. And slide grease and slide valve oil. And go ahead and start yourself a bath. Lukewarm water, my rule of thumb, if you'd put a baby in it, is the right temperature. You don't want it cold, but you don't want it hot. Alright, so now we've got to take our trumpet apart. So, right here, we are going to start by taking out the mouthpiece. Left way, unscrew it and pull. Pop it down on the towel. Very good. Now we're going to start by taking out the valves. I'm pointing at them right now. Everything should be a-okay. What you want to do is you want to unscrew from the valve casing. Don't unscrew from the button. From the valve casing, it's attached to the actual valve, and then it should pull right out. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm going to show you again. Is this little part right here at the bottom. Notice I'm not actually grabbing the button, I'm grabbing the big old metal part right there. There we go. Unscrewing and putting it on the towel and doing it again. Unscrew that third valve, pull it out, and put it on the towel. Alright, now I lay towels down on the ground. I would highly suggest that. Now I'm going to show you our valves. We've got valve number 1, which was closest to our face if we were playing. Valve number 2, hello Peter, and valve number 3. Okay guys, now valve number 3 is closest to your bell. Valve 1 is closest to your face. What we're going to do is disassemble this valve because these felts I'm showing you cannot get wet. So what we're going to do, you're going to grab from the peg part and unscrew that top button. If you just start unscrewing from the button, you could unscrew the whole valve and the spring will pop up and it'll be a big mess. So make sure you grab from that peg and pull out and then take off the little valve felt right there and the other pieces. And you should be left with those 3 little circular parts. So yet again, grab from the peg, unscrew the button, place down, take the little head off, bloop, and grab the little felt underneath. Now mine are green, yours could be a different color, they come in all different colors. And then continue that with the third valve. Now like I said, you don't want to get these wet, so when we go to wash our valves here in a second, they are going to stay on the towel. They don't go anywhere near my water. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and take out the slides because these need a thorough washing too. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull those out. Little one attached to the second valve. This one right here is attached to our first valve. Ooh, popped that out. I'm going to take out this one right here. Yours might have a ring key on it. I just took mine off for the washing. And then your main slide, and then I'm going to look on the bottom, and there are these little caps on the end of your valve casing. I take those off because gunk and gunge can tend to gather there, so I'm going to take those out. Yeah, as we're disassembling everything and laying it out, like I said, it is a great thing to wash your trumpet once a month. I mean, it's like good maintenance, helps it play better, and, you know, just keeps your trumpet in better condition. Alright, so here I've put it in warm soapy water in my tub, but it was really hard for me to film here. So I'm actually going to be showing you how to clean them by my sink, but please use your tub. That's how I actually clean my trombone and trumpet. So here I've got the dish soap, I've got my valve wet, and I am going to put that dish soap all over this valve right here and use my hand and just scrub it all over. Now you can use washcloth. I use my hand, doesn't bother me. And then I take my valve brush. The valve brush is the thicker brush you would have gotten in your kit, and you are going to twist it in, reverse it out. Same thing with the other hole. Twist in, reverse out, twist in, reverse out. Once you've done that, I rinse off my brush, and I rinse off that valve. And then I place it on a towel, like I said, on the ground, and I actually have it facing down, kind of like it would naturally be in the trumpet, because then it's like it's actually, you know, having the water drip off of it. Gravity is helping you do some of the work there. And then I'm going to repeat those steps right here with valve number 2. Alright, all done with cleaning those valves. Here you can see where I kept all that stuff separate. And the water. Now we're actually going to clean the slide. So for this, I actually put soap in and on. I also put water inside that slide. So there's actually soap and water inside, and the reason is because I'm going to clean it kind of like you would like a cup or a baby's bottle with a brush. Oop, got the wrong brush. Oh, yep. There we go. You're going to want to use your valve brush. You can also use, though, if this came in your cleaning kit, a snake. This is actually mine for my trombone, so I'm not going to use it on here. It's a little bigger than a trumpet snake or a beginner snake. So I'm using a valve brush. And just like cleaning a baby's bottle, there's warm water in there and soap, and I just scrub it out and then I rinse it out. Now on this, I cannot say this enough, make sure all the soap gets out of there, no bubbles. And then I store it facing downward. Yet again, letting gravity help us do some of the work there. And then I'm going to repeat those steps with the rest of those valves. Oh, I'm sorry. Alright, we're done with our slides, and so now the last thing we need to look at are those valve end caps. Like I said, Gunge likes to gather here. You want to take a brush, could be mouthpiece or the valve brush. Yet again, I use the valve brush, it's a little fluffier, and I scrub it out and make sure there's nothing in there. Now mine's clean. I just cleaned mine recently, but you might find some stuff there. Just make sure it gets cleaned. And then we've got our mouthpiece. Now, I actually clean mine, or try to, at the end of every day, just because, you know, I use it a lot, my mouth touches it, so I try and keep it clean. But you just put soap in it, take the mouthpiece brush, and go in through the part that goes in to your horn, not from the bell. If I do put the brush in, or in the actual mouthpiece bowl, it's just to scrub it around a little bit. I don't actually put it through. And then I rinse it out often. And now we're actually going to clean out those valve casings, because if your valve was dirty, there is a very good chance those casings are too. So I would use a snake here just because it fits, but I'm just using the valve brush. It works just fine. Put it in through the top and scrubbing it down using that soap. And if I were in a bathtub, I'd have water going through this too. And then I actually do it through the bottom. If I was using a snake, I wouldn't need to do this because it would go straight through, but I just want to make sure I got everything. And then here's everything stored down. Hello again, Pete. Okay, so now let's reassemble and get everything ready. So I'm going to make sure everything's dry. While you've been washing everything else, everything's probably had a good chance to dry. You're probably pretty close to dry. But I'm just making sure. Alright, so all of my slides have been dried off, and I'm going to grab my tuning slide grease. Now, slide grease is a very similar consistency to chapstick or Vaseline. However, I do not suggest using Vaseline or chapstick on your instrument. It's just not good for the instrument. Slide grease is fairly inexpensive, so just go grab a little tub. It'll last you for forever. Now I'm going to put it on my finger, kind of like if you were applying chapstick from a tub like this. You just want to evenly apply it all over this slide here. You're going to tell there's a dull part to the slide and a shinier part. You want to apply it to the dull part that actually goes in to your trumpet. And then we want to put it in. Now, this slide is attached to the first valve. Right here, you're going to see a little knob. You want that to face out. And I'm actually going to put in one slide at a time. Some people put them both in right away. I like to do one at a time if I can, just because it evenly distributes. I have time to like turn it around and make sure it's all the way around the inside, and then I line it up and push in. Now, if you've put yours in and you feel like you need to hammer it in, or it's just not going in there, it might just be out of an alignment. They should slide in fairly easily. Alright, here's a little baby slide that is attached to our second valve. Quick little swipe with this. I'm not doing one at a time, obviously, because it is so tiny. And I'm making sure that knob is up and facing out. And I'm going to pop it in. Like I said, it should just slide right in. Now we are moving on to the valve that is attached, and yours might have a ring on it. Mine usually does. I just took it out for the cleaning video so it wouldn't be in the way. And you can tell how to put it on because yours probably has a spit valve on it. You want the spit valve to face downward. Right now I'm going to apply my grease, and then I will show you what it looks like when you put it in. There we go. Okay, so like I said, that little twisty knob at the top, that's where the ring goes in. So the ring will face up. The spit valve, which I'm pointing to with my ring finger, will face down. And I just went ahead and put it straight in so I could show you. It's lined up, and you can see if it's lined up, it should slide in pretty easily. And now our fourth and final slide, our main tuning slide. This one is our big one. This is the one we move the most. That one and the one with the ring we just did are probably the most used. We're going to go ahead and grease it up. Now this one's obviously bigger, so it will take more slide grease, but you really don't need much on. I can barely see it when I put it on. I can just kind of feel it. And when I push it in, you're going to see in a second, I'll push it in, and I will see excess that will gather up around the edges because there was just a little bit much on there, and I have to clean it off with a rag. You will most likely have to do the same thing. Just make sure it's just enough. And now it is time for valves. First thing we're going to do, put those end caps on that we scrubbed up. There it is right here, all clean. And I'm just going to screw them onto the bottom here. 1, 2, and 3. Alright, and now it is valve time. So everything is assembled except for our valve. So I'm going to put our trumpet to the side. I'm going to grab a valve. So here it is. It has not been reassembled yet. So this valve right here I'm going to show you is number 1. It should have a number on it. All valves should have a number on it somewhere. Look for that number. And I'm going to dry off the bottom. A lot of water gathers there, so I make sure I dry it off. Alright, little felt on first. And then the little top hat thing that actually screws it on. And then the button. And righty-tighty to screw that one on. And we are ready to put it, but you can use any slide oil you have, or valve oil, excuse me. So this is my valve oil. I'm just going to grab it and grab my valve. So I'm going to start with my trumpet, valve 1. Now, I make sure I check the number. It does say valve 1. Valve 1 goes closest to your mouthpiece, or closest to your face when you're playing. So I make sure that's where valve 1 goes. I grab my valve oil here, and I lift my valve in the casing and distribute that oil around it. Now I leave my valve in the casing so that extra oil drips down, and then I twist my valve around in there to make sure it's coated all the way around the casing, all the way around the valve, and then I line it up. So what I mean is I look down my trumpet and make sure number 1 is straight in front of me. And if you blow through your trumpet, especially when we get all 3 valves in, you'll be able to tell if it's perfectly straight, but you want to make sure that number is facing your face. So now it's time for number 2. Number 2 goes in the middle valve casing. I'll show you the number right here. Number 2. And I'm going to take it and repeat those same steps. Alright, we have officially put in our 3rd valve. So right now I'm blowing through my trumpet, making sure that all those numbers are straight, and you'll be able to tell if they're in there straight because you will be able to tell when you blow through. Your student will know for sure. If you are my student, hello, good job, thank you for cleaning your instrument. So there we go. Everything's in, everything's tightened down, mouthpiece in, you're good.